Now, as energy costs rise sharply, Breakfast has discovered that some people on benefits are having to hand over a quarter of their weekly income just to pay their fuel bills. The customer watchdog Consumer Focus says the scheme, called Fuel Direct, needs to be reassessed. It's concerned that some people may be left with too little to live on. Paul Lewis has been investigating.
Mike Hutchinson is 62. A heart operation earlier this year left him unable to work. Without any other income, he relies on pension credit. It should be just enough to live on, but his fuel supplier deducts nearly £30 of it to pay his fuel bill.
My pension credit is actually £137.35 a week. That's my sole income. Out of that, they're stopping £29.80, which leaves me, say, the grand total £107.45p, which I think is all wrong.
Southern Electricity has the right to deduct money from Mike's benefit because in the past he got into arrears. It takes £6.80 a week towards those, but another £23 a week to cover his current consumption. So nearly a quarter of Mike's weekly money is needed just to heat his modern, double-glazed rented home.
I've still got other bills to pay: TV licence, water rates, telephone bill, and it all mounts up. And that has to be found out of that £107 a week.
His energy supplier says it's simply following the rules. When a vulnerable customer falls behind in payments, we do everything we can to help them. On this occasion, we've set the repayment rate at the rate set by the Department for Work and Pensions. These deductions are known as Fuel Direct. That applies where the customer's in debt and on benefits. In exchange for not disconnecting the supply, the power company can take up to a quarter of the customer's weekly benefit before it's paid to them. And for families with children, that can be very hard.
The problem with the Fuel Direct scheme is that although families might sign up to this in the first place, actually they've no control over how much at the moment can be taken out of their benefits at any point, up to 25%. Now, any of us who has 25% taken out of our income will know about it, and it'll have a devastating effect.
Last April, means-tested benefits rose by just over 3.5%, but this winter, fuel costs are more than 20% higher. No one from the government would be interviewed, but the Department for Work and Pensions told us that it believes these deductions are appropriate and points out without this scheme, people could have their gas or electricity cut off. It also added that the department can't control the amount of fuel which customers use. But the government's watchdog, Consumer Focus, is less happy with the scheme.
Customers are often very confused about how deductions have been calculated and what the status of their account is. So the DWP need to make it more standard and easier for suppliers to apply for this. And also the suppliers need to ensure that their customers are kept informed, that their account is managed properly, and that customers are put on the lowest tariff possible.
In one way, Mike is lucky. He'll at least get the £120 warm home discount off his electricity bill this winter. Many families won't qualify for that. With fuel prices rising much faster than benefits, more households would end up with a quarter of their money taken for their fuel bills before they even see it. Paul Lewis, BBC News.
Well, Paul will be here just after 8 o'clock this morning to explain more about the options for energy customers who are paying more than they can afford. Now, anti-capital